Willow Grove, Pennsylvania, was a quiet town of about 15,000 in the 1980s. Situated 20 miles outside of Philadelphia, it was known for its leafy parks and small churches. Holy Cross Monastery, founded in 1923, sat on a hill on the north side of town. It was home to 32 monks who followed the strict rules of the Benedictine order. The monastery was a closed community, with outsiders rarely allowed in except on public days. The monks lived an ascetic life, spending their time praying, gardening, and writing books. Brother Aidan Wells, 34, joined the monastery in 1979. He came from a working-class family in Pittsburgh, was educated at a Catholic college, and was known for his quiet personality. Brother Silas Crow, 41, joined the order in 1975. A native of Baltimore, he had a reputation for being reserved but strong-willed. Both monks were active in the community. Aidan worked in the monastery library, and Silas was in charge of the monastery's operations. On the evening of September 14, 1987, the abbot of the monastery, Father Gregory Lane, discovered the body of Brother Aidan in his cell. The monk was lying on the floor next to his bed, with multiple stab wounds to his chest and neck. At the crime scene, police found a kitchen knife belonging to the monastery, which was believed to have been the murder weapon. The investigation established that the death occurred between 10 o'clock and 11 p.m. There were no signs of a struggle in the cell, and the door was locked from the inside, which raised questions among investigators. Willow Grove police began an investigation, interviewing all the monks and staff at the monastery. It soon became known that Aidan and Silas had a close relationship, which some monks said went beyond fraternal friendship. These rumors, although unconfirmed, became the starting point for the investigation. The investigation revealed that there had been conflicts between the men in recent months, as evidenced by entries in Aidan's personal diaries, which were seized by police. The case was complicated by the closed nature of the monastery's life. The monks rarely communicated with the outside world, and their vows of silence and obedience made it difficult to gather information. Nevertheless, the investigation continued, and gradually details began to emerge that shed light on the events of that night. The following chapters will detail the investigation, witness testimony, the trial, and the consequences of the case for the monastery and the city. Holy Cross Monastery in Willow Grove was a place where monks followed a strict routine. Prayer, work, and silence took up much of their day. But behind the strict exterior were human frailties that were rarely discussed openly. The investigation into the murder of Brother Aidan Wells centered on his relationship with Brother Silas Crow. The investigation revealed that the two had a relationship that some monks described as intimate. This relationship, hidden from the community, became a key element of the case. Aidan and Silas first became close in 1983, when they worked together on restoring old books in the monastery library. Aidan, as librarian, spent hours cataloging, and Silas, as housekeeper, often brought in materials for repairs. According to Brother Thomas Reed, a 52-year-old monk who worked in the garden, they often stayed in the library after evening prayers. Thomas noticed that Aidan and Silas sometimes stayed there until midnight, which was unusual given the strict schedule. He dismissed this as simply their passion for the work, but other monks noticed oddities. Brother Lucas Hale, 29, told investigators that he saw Aidan and Silas holding hands in the hallway leading to their cells one day in 1985. Lucas did not report the incident to the abbot for fear of breaking their vow of silence and causing a confrontation. He noted that both monks seemed careful to avoid such gestures in front of others. Police also seized Aidan's diary, in which he wrote about his feelings for Silas. The entries were brief, but included references to a sin that could never be atoned for, and a joy hidden from all. Investigators interpreted this as evidence of their closeness, although there was no direct evidence of a physical relationship in the diary. In 1986, the relationship between Aidan and Silas reportedly began to deteriorate. Brother Gideon Pierce, 45, who was in charge of the kitchen, said he heard them arguing in the refectory after dinner in July 1987. Gideon could not make out the words, but noted that Silas seemed irritated, and Aidan tried to calm him down. Other monks confirmed that Silas had become more withdrawn in recent months, often missing communal prayers. Aidan, by contrast, seemed depressed but continued to carry out his duties. Police questioned Father Gregory Lane, the monastery's abbot, about whether he knew about the possible relationship. Gregory said he had heard rumors but did not intervene, considering it a private matter for the monks. He noted that vows of chastity were mandatory, but there was no direct evidence of them being violated. Gregory also said that in August 1987, Aidan asked to leave the monastery, citing personal difficulties, but did not elaborate. The abbot refused, suggesting that Aidan undergo spiritual guidance. The investigation established that on the night of the murder, September 14, 1987, Silas was the last person to see Aidan alive. According to the testimony of his brother Nathan Kane, 38, Silas entered Aidan's cell at about 9:30 p.m. Nathan, whose cell was nearby, heard muffled voices but did not listen to the conversation. This became the starting point for the investigation, which focused on Silas's motives and the circumstances that led to the tragedy. The investigation into the murder of Brother Aidan Wells at Holy Cross Monastery in Willow Grove, Pennsylvania, centered on his relationship with Brother Silas Crow. Police sought evidence that could confirm the intimate nature of their relationship and provide a motive for the crime. The monastery's closed life and vows of silence made it difficult to gather information, but investigators gradually pieced together evidence that revealed the circumstances leading up to the events of September 14, 1987. Detectives led by Lieutenant Richard Holt conducted a series of interviews with the monks. Brother Elias Wood, 47, who worked in the monastery bakery, reported seeing Aidan and Silas in the old chapel, which was used only for occasional services, on several occasions in early 1987. In March 1987, Elias saw Silas embrace Aidan in a dark corner of the chapel. The two monks quickly separated and left the room upon seeing him. Elias did not report this to the abbot, so as not to disrupt the community, but he remembered their worried expressions. Brother Clement Ford, 36, who was in charge of the monastery's archives, said he saw Aidan and Silas leaving Silas's cell late at night in June 1987. He noted that they were reserved, but their frequent meetings seemed unusual. Clement also noted that Aidan had appeared depressed in recent months and was less likely to participate in communal mealtime conversations. He did not discuss his observations with other monks, following the monastery's rules. Police seized Aidan's personal belongings, including his diary. Entries dated April and May 1987 included references to heavy feelings that can't be expressed and wanting to be close to someone who understands. Investigators believed these words indicated romantic feelings for Silas. One entry, dated June 10, 1987, read, "He wants to end it all, but I'm not ready. It's tearing me apart." These lines confirmed the emotional tension between the monks. Among Silas's papers, police found an unsent letter addressed to Aidan. It read, "Your persistence is putting us both at risk. I can't go on." Forensic analysis confirmed that the letter was written by Silas. Investigators interpreted it as evidence of a conflict over their secret relationship. Brother Joseph Martin, 50, who worked in the monastery's garden, reported hearing Aidan and Silas arguing in the library after evening prayers in August 1987. Joseph could not make out the words, but noted that Silas was speaking louder than usual and Aidan seemed upset. After this incident, Aidan began to avoid public gatherings, a fact that was noted by other monks. The rector, Father Gregory Lane, confirmed that he had heard rumors of Aidan and Silas's closeness, but felt it was not necessary to intervene without evidence. He said that in July 1987, Silas had asked to be transferred to another monastery, without giving a reason. Gregory had rejected the request, citing the need to maintain the community's numbers. He also noted that Aidan had mentioned internal conflict in August, but did not provide details. The investigation established that on the evening of September 14th, Silas was last seen entering Aidan's cell at around 9 p.m. Brother Nathan Kane, 38, whose cell was nearby, heard their voices but could not make out the content of their conversation. This became a key point for the investigation, which began to consider Silas as a prime suspect based on his closeness to Aidan and signs of discord between them. By the summer of 1987, the relationship between Brother Aidan Wells and Brother Silas Crow at Holy Cross Monastery in Willow Grove, Pennsylvania, had reached a boiling point. The investigation, led by Lieutenant Richard Holt, continued to gather evidence pointing to an intimate relationship between the monks, which police believed was the source of the conflict that led to Aidan's murder on September 14, 1987. The monastery's closed atmosphere complicated the investigation, but but new testimony and evidence helped reveal how events unfolded in the months leading up to the tragedy. Brother Timothy Rush, 42, who worked in the monastery's workshop, told investigators that in June 1987 he witnessed an argument between Aidan and Silas in the garden behind the monastery. He saw Silas push Aidan away when the latter tried to take his hand. Timothy did not hear the conversation, but noticed that Aidan looked upset and Silas walked quickly towards the cells. Timothy did not report the incident to the abbot, believing it to be a private matter, but later recalled that Silas avoided working with Aidan in the library after that. Brother Samuel Black, 31, who helped in the refectory, said that in July 1987 he saw Aidan attempt to speak to Silas after dinner, but that Silas abruptly cut him off and left the room. Samuel noted that Aidan seemed depressed and often sat alone during meals. He also recalled seeing Aidan leave a note on the library table addressed to Silas one day in early August. Samuel did not read it, but saw Silas find it, crumple it up, and throw it away. Police later found the note in a wastebasket. In it, Aidan had written, "I can't keep quiet. We need to talk or I'll tell Father Gregory." Investigators interpreted it as an attempt by Aidan to open up their relationship. Aidan's diary, seized by police, contained entries from July 1987 that shed light on his emotional state. He wrote, "I love him, but he rejects me. It's destroying my soul." Another entry, dated July 15th, read, "Silas says we are breaking vows, but I see no sin in our intimacy." These words confirmed that Aidan was eager to continue the relationship despite Silas's resistance. Police also found several letters in Silas's cell that had been written but not sent to Aidan. In one, dated August 20th, Silas wrote, "You make me feel guilty. This must end or we will both perish." Forensic analysis confirmed that Silas was the author. Brother Aaron Vale, 39, who worked in the monastery laundry, reported hearing Silas and Aidan arguing in the hallway near the library in August 1987. Aaron heard Silas say, "You don't understand, this is dangerous for us." Aidan responded quietly, and Aaron did not hear what he said. He noted that after this, Aidan began spending more time alone, and Silas seemed irritated and avoided group prayer. Father Gregory Lane, the rector, said Aidan came to him in August asking for spiritual guidance. He mentioned personal difficulties, but did not go into detail. Gregory suggested prayer and fasting, but Aidan seemed restless, the rector said. Meanwhile, Silas seemed distant, Gregory said, and at one point asked for permission to go into seclusion, which was denied. The investigation also established that in early September 1987, Aidan began visiting the old chapel more frequently, where, according to Brother Elias Wood, he prayed alone. Elias noticed that Silas had stopped visiting there, although they had previously often been there together. This indicated a final breakdown in their relationship. On the evening of September 14th, according to Brother Nathan Kane, Silas entered Aidan's cell at about 9 p.m. Nathan heard their voices, but could not understand the words. This was the last recorded contact between them before the murder. By early September 1987, the relationship between Brother Aidan Wells and Brother Silas Crow at Holy Cross Monastery in Willow Grove, Pennsylvania, had reached a breaking point. The investigation, led by Lieutenant Richard Holt, focused on the final weeks before Aidan's murder on September 14th to understand how the monks' intimate relationship led to the fatal outcome. Monks' statements, notes, and evidence revealed the escalating conflict that lay at the heart of the tragedy. Brother Isaac Drake, 43, who worked in the monastery library with Aidan, said he noticed a change in his colleagues' behavior in early September. Aidan became absent-minded, often leaving books uncatalogued and spending hours staring out of the window. Isaac once caught him in the library writing a letter, which Aidan quickly hid. Police later found the letter in Aidan's cell. In it, he wrote, "Silas, I cannot live in this silence. If you will not speak, I will find a way to be heard." Investigators interpreted this as a hint that Aidan wanted to reveal their relationship, possibly to the abbot. Brother Philip Gray, 35, who was in charge of cleaning at the monastery, said he saw Aidan approach Silas in the refectory in early September, but that Silas abruptly turned away and walked away. Philip noted that Aidan seemed dejected and later sat alone in a corner without eating. He also recalled that Silas had begun to avoid public gatherings in those days, preferring to work alone in the outbuildings. Police found another entry in Aidan's diary, dated September 5, 1987. I can't hide this any longer. He says I'm ruining his life, but I just want to be with him. This entry indicated Aiden's deep emotional dependence on Silas and his unwillingness to end their relationship. At the same time, investigators found a draft letter in Silas's cell, written on September 7th. You don't understand what this means to me. If anyone finds out, I'll lose everything. Forensic analysis confirmed that the letter was written by Silas, and police took it as evidence of his fear of exposure. Brother Oliver Tern, 40, who worked in the garden, reported seeing Aiden and Silas talking in the old chapel on September 10th. Oliver noticed that Aiden seemed agitated, and that Silas was trying to calm him down by putting his hand on his shoulder. Oliver did not hear the conversation but noted that it was a rare occasion on which they had been together in recent weeks. He did not report it to the rector, believing it to be unimportant. Father Gregory Lane, the prior of the monastery, told investigators that on September 12th, Aiden approached him again, asking for spiritual guidance. He mentioned a feeling that was tearing him apart inside, but did not provide details. Gregory advised Aiden to pray and focus on his vows, but noted that he seemed desperate. That same day, Silas, according to the prior, asked for permission to temporarily retreat to a remote cell, but was refused because of the strict rules. Brother Nathan Kane, 38, whose cell was next to Aiden's, reported hearing Aiden crying quietly on the night of September 13th. Nathan did not interfere, following a vow of non-interference in personal matters. He also noted that Silas had been avoiding contact with Aiden in recent days, but saw him heading towards Aiden's cell at around 8:30 p.m. on September 14th. Nathan confirmed hearing their voices around 9 p.m., but could not make out their words. This was the last confirmed contact between the monks before the murder. The investigation also examined the daily routine of September 14th. After evening prayers, Aiden returned to his cell, while Silas, according to Brother Samuel Black, lingered in the utility room. At around 9 p.m., Silas entered Aiden's cell, which was confirmed by Nathan's testimony. The police began to view this meeting as a key moment leading up to the murder, given the tension that had built up in their relationship. The trial of Silas Crowe began in January 1988 in Montgomery County Court in Pennsylvania. Prosecutors presented evidence of an intimate relationship between Silas and Aiden, arguing that fear of exposure was the motive for the murder. Aiden's diary contained entries such as, "I can't live without him, but he wants to go," September 9, 1987, indicating his insistence on maintaining the relationship. A letter from Silas containing the words, "Your demands are destroying me," September 8th, demonstrated his attempts to end the relationship. Silas's fingerprints on a knife found near the body and the testimony of Nathan Kane, who saw Silas in Aiden's cell at 9 p.m., strengthened the prosecution's case. The defense claimed the murder was a case of passion. Silas admitted in court that their relationship began in 1984 when they worked in the library. He said he tried to break off the relationship to keep his vows, but Aiden threatened to tell the abbot. Silas said that on the night of the murder he went to Aiden to end the relationship, but the argument got out of hand and he grabbed a knife from the cell. Brother Oliver Tern, 40, confirmed that Aiden had appeared desperate in his final days, often praying alone. Father Gregory Lane reported that Aiden had spoken of an overwhelming attachment and that Silas had asked to be transferred but was refused. The accounts highlighted the emotional strain between the monks. The examination established that Aiden had received 7 wounds and that he died at about 10:30 p.m. from blood loss. The absence of signs of a struggle indicated that the attack was sudden. The prosecution insisted on premeditation, but the defense emphasized the impulsive nature of the crime. In March 1988, Silas was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to 15 years in prison. Holy Cross Monastery suffered repercussions. Several monks left the community, and Father Gregory resigned in 1989. In Willow Grove, the case was controversial, but the church urged silence. The monastery tightened its rules, and service attendance dropped. The murder of Aiden Wells has exposed the vulnerability of closed religious communities, where personal conflicts can go unnoticed. The case showed how the pressure of vows and the fear of exposure can lead to tragedy. The trial highlighted the difficulty of balancing personal feelings with religious commitment, raising questions about how monasteries deal with human frailty.